Today I'm going to start the last part of my water barrel collection. It's been about close to a week and a half. We did get a lot of rain, and the 3 barrels, I don't know if you can't really see because there's a glare on that side over there, have already been filled up. So this is going to be actually easy to take apart, because what I'm going to do is I did buy a 2x6, so I'm going to kind of follow the same pattern as I did on the other side. I am still going to use the same legs. Okay, so the 2x6 will actually come a little bit higher. However, I still have enough. It'll come a little bit higher, but I still have enough to put a bolt through, a carriage bolt, to keep it together. I think the hardest part, taking this apart, is removing those brackets back there. Anyways, that's what I'm going to do. The barrel is going to be easy to do. This is not even tied down, you know, it's just standing on its own weight. And when it fills with water, it really doesn't go anywhere. So I can actually just pick this up and then just move it off to the side, because it does have that flexible hose there. I am going to purchase 2 more barrels. The 2 barrels are coming from Pennsylvania, and they're food grade, although again, I'm not going to be drinking out of them, but more so just washing hands, things like that. I am planting a lot of landscaping plants, bushes, perennials, and everything. So this is where the majority of the water is going to be used for throughout this whole summer, especially if we have a dry season, a dry summer. This is going to actually work out. So this 2x6 is 6 feet long. Okay, so I should be able to fit 3 barrels together on top of it. I did buy a second one. It's over there somewhere. It's here somewhere. I'm also going to put a tabletop on top, so it looks like a table. That way it protects, you know, most of the rain, or when it snows, not much of the snow will hit the ground because there is a top on top of it. So let's see what else is there. And then obviously I'm going to repair this because that one is cracked. So I am going to raise this by using cinder blocks. It's got to be at least, you know, much higher than this. I don't mind these barrels here being the high point, which is fine, but being the low point, what happens is the water does come out from the spout. Now, the reason why it's like this is because these barrels were actually right side up, and that was part of the manifold system. But then I've seen some people turn it upside down and then connect the manifold system that way. So I'm going to make that into a straight pipe to begin with, and when it's almost done, to allow air in and out when it fills and when it empties out. Okay, this is what I have so far. I was able to take the top off. I didn't separate the wood because remember, the frame was actually just screwed in. So this one I'm actually going to bolt in. But if you can tell, there's a little bit of this is for a 2x4, but I'm now putting a 2x6. So, but everything's going to be 16 on center. This would actually be the starting point right here, and then 16 on center all the way as we go through. So, yeah, it looks a lot shorter, but I am going to put it on either cinder blocks or deck footings, but I guess we'll see. I'm kind of leaning more towards the cinder blocks, but because I have so many of them. So I remodified the table, so this looks very similar to what I had done on the previous project. So we have 2 bolts, 4 legs this time. I didn't think I needed 6, so, but we'll see. The ground was too high. I'm sorry, the table was, I made it higher with the using the deck footings on top of cinder blocks. It was difficult to try to measure out the top of this as opposed to the tanks over down there, the barrels over down there. So this is pretty much approximate. So this is higher than those barrels. Again, you want it to be higher, or at least at the same level That way it doesn't overflow on this end. You want it to overflow on the other end. Okay, so now I'm in the process of actually making the holes into the table, and then again dry fitting everything all together. So this should work pretty well. This is the end product of what I was doing here in the corner of the house. So I had taken apart the old stand, which is that thing. It can only hold 2 barrels. This one can hold 3. So again, this had to be a little bit higher than the where it comes in, which is down there. And I think it is pretty high. I did use a laser pointer. The fence actually does curve down because of the slope we have at the backyard. And this is it. So this is very similar to what I did up front from the previous video. The everything is actually tied in. So, and each each barrel has its own valve. So it should hold up pretty nicely. I did use the old legs from the old stand, which were shorter. So I did rise them up. I bought deck footings and placed them on top of the cinder blocks. It should hold. There's not really any disturbance here, this part of the fence. Again, they're rubber hosing. In case the wood does, the fence and the table does shift, at least that it gives it some play. And those 3 barrels have a cutoff over here as well. And I said I was going to raise this, but I left it as it is. So I think it'll be fine. And as you can tell, we have the air hole up there. I think this one looks a little bit unsightly. I am going to build a fence around it just to hide it. That one, I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. It's still kind of high, so maybe too high. All the piping here is 3/4, okay? Even though piping going through these barrels here, I think one change I would have done was probably use a much larger, like maybe a 1-inch. If you're thinking of good flow, water flow going in and out, as well as the 1-inch up here. But I had an excess amount of 3/4 piping, so I decided to use that instead. So everything's going to dry. I'll give it at least 24 hours, maybe even 48 hours. And then what I'm going to do now is release the water from that end so it actually fills up and primes everything, the whole piping system. At the same time, I can also check for any leaks. So this is it for the rain harvesting system. Okay. Any questions, let me know. Thanks a lot. Okay, bye.